Tava kripa bale pai Chaitanya Nitai Hahaswarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Hahaswarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhatta Juga Shri Jivaha Prabhu Lokanatha Bhatta Juga Shri Jivaha Prabhu Lokanatha Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Dasa Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Dasa Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Toma bina ke doyalu Jagat samsare Toma bina ke doyalu Jagat samsare Patita pavana hetu Tava avatara Patita pavana hetu Tava avatara Musama patita prabhu Na paibe ara Musama patita prabhu Na paibe ara Haha prabhu nityananda Premananda Sukhi Haha Prabhu Nityananda Premananda Sukhi Kripa Balokana Koro Ami Baro Dukhi Kripa Balokana Koro Ami Baro Dukhi Daya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Daya Koro Sitapati Advaita Gosai Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Tava Kripa Bale Pai Chaitanya Nitai Hahaswarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Hahaswarup Sanatana Rupa Raghunatha Bhatta Juga Shri Jivaha Prabhu Lokanatha Bhatta Juga Shri Jivaha Prabhu Lokanatha Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Daya Koro Shri Acharya Prabhu Srinivasa Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das Ramachandra Sangamage Narottama Das Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Daya Koro More Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Doya koro more, toma bina ke doyalu, jagat samsare. Toma bina ke doyalu, jagat samsare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna.
Just quickly the translation, please.
Okay, just read the translation now. So, number 1, my dear Lord Chaitanya, please be merciful to me, because who can be more merciful than your Lordship within these 3 worlds? Number 2, your incarnation is just to reclaim the conditioned fallen souls, but I assure you that you will not find a greater fallen soul than me. Therefore, my claim is first. Number 3, my dear Lord Nityananda, you are always joyful in spiritual bliss. Since you always appear very happy, I have come to you because I am most unhappy. If you kindly put your glance over me, then I may also become happy.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, continue, please.
My dear Advaita Prabhu, husband of Sita, you are so kind. Please be merciful to me. If you are kind to me, naturally Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda will also be kind to me. O Swarup Damodar, personal secretary of Lord Chaitanya, O 6 Goswamis, O Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Sri Raghunath Bhatta Goswami, Sri Gopal Bhatt Goswami, Sri Jiva Goswami, and Sri Raghunath Das Goswami. O Lokanath Goswami, my beloved spiritual master, Narottam Das also prays for your mercy. O Srinivas Acharya, successor to the 6 Goswamis, please be merciful to me. Narottam Das always desires the company of Ramachandra Chakravarti. Hare Krishna. There's also a purport by Srila Prabhupada. Should I read that or?
No, that's okay. Thank you very much.
Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So today we are meeting and discussing Gaur, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Transcendental Appearance Day, Gaur Katha. For some of you, it is the first time. You do not know. For some of us, it is not the first time, but we still don't know. To understand Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is not easy, and importance for his appearance is very significant. So now we will start the discussion. We should always remember that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, but fully. He is not part in any way. So I would like to start the discussion by a Srimad Bhagavatam verse, which is in the 9th canto, which talks about how the living entity is struggling in this material world. And with this struggle, he forgets God, and how God or Krishna works towards bringing back this living devotee. Yan maya chestitam pumsah sthiti utpatti apyayahi anugrahastan nivrutte atmalabhaya cheshyate. Here, the Supreme Personality of Godhead acts through his material energy in the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this cosmic manifestation, just to deliver the living entities by his compassion and to stop the cycle of the living entities' birth and death and duration of materialistic life. Thus, he enables the living being to return home back to Godhead. Now, in Chaitanya discussion, we assume that we are we understand a little bit of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and the calculations and all that. So we'll move fast today. We'll get on with it. Now, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada starts with a question. Materialistic men sometimes ask why God has created the material world for the suffering of living entities. I've been asked this question many times. I'm sure many of you who are preachers would be asked this question also. Why God has created this material world where so much suffering is there, and they want a very sharp and 2-second answer in it. You see, the material creation is certainly meant for suffering, for the conditioned souls. We all are part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, which Lord Krishna himself confirms in the Bhagavad Gita. He says, Mamevamsha jiva loke, jiva bhuta sanatanaha, manashastani indriyani, prakriti sthani karshati. So the living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental parts. Due to conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which include the mind. Now, this way, a living entity is struggling. Both the Lord and the living entity, they are qualitatively one, spirit soul. They have the tendency for peaceful enjoyment between them. But when the part of the Supreme Personality of Godhead unfortunately wants to enjoy independently, that means the living entities want to enjoy independently, without Krishna, he is put into this material world, where he begins a life as Brahma and is gradually degraded to the status of an ant and a worm in the stool. This is called Mana Sastani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. There is a great struggle for existence because the living entity conditioned by material nature is under the nature's full control. Prakriti kriya manani gurani karmani sarvasaha. Because of his limited knowledge, however, the living entity thinks that he is enjoying this material world. Manasastani indriyani prakriti sthani karshati. He is actually under the full control of material nature. But still he thinks himself independent. Ahankara vimudhatma kartaram iti manyate. Even when he is elevated by speculative knowledge and tries to merge into the existence of Brahman, the same disease continues. Because he doesn't have the key to get out of this material world. He's struggling constantly. In this way, the living entity, the conditioned soul, undergoes a great struggle for existence in this material world. And therefore, the Lord, out of compassion to him, appears in this world and instructs him. Just like Krishna appeared and he instructs. Bhagavad Gita, Yada Yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam adharmasya tadatmanam shrujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, Bharat, in a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. Lord Krishna says. So real dharma is to surrender unto Krishna, but the rebellious living entity, instead of surrendering to Krishna, engages in adharma. And what is that? In a struggle for existence to become like Krishna in material world. And that's why we are struggling totally, completely. And that's why it is called a great struggle for existence. Very, very painful. This adharma. Therefore, out of compassion, Krishna creates this material world to give the living entity a chance to understand his real position. Bhagavad Gita and other similar Vedic literatures are presented so that the living being may understand his relationship with Krishna. Vedesha sarver ahameva vedya. Bhagavad Gita 15 verse 15. All these Vedic literatures are meant to enable a living entity to give him a chance to understand his real position. And they are presented so that the living entity may understand his relationship with Krishna. And what is his relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead? This is called Brahma Jignasa. One can ask this question. Every conditioned soul is struggling, but human life provides the best chance for him to understand his position. You see, every day we see ants, we see small insects, other living beings, dogs, cats, elephants, big animals. They have no idea of, of why there's life. There is no Brahma Jignasa. But as we're struggling from the position of Brahma down to the ant, now we've got this human form of life. This is the position where one can ask the question, and it provides the best chance for him to understand his position. Therefore, this verse says, Anugrahas tad nivrittehe, indicating that life of repeated birth and death must be stopped, and the living conditioned soul should be educated on this. This is the purpose of creation. See, this is the answer to the first question when Prabhupada started, when he said that so many materialistic people ask us why God has created this material world, which is so much struggle. Here it is. Just one error, just one zid that we have, that we want to become like Krishna, we want to enjoy like him. Why should we not enjoy like him? That is why all this mess Krishna has done for us. So much hard work, and we, with this hard work, are struggling and blaming him only. Why this world has been created. You see, and they say that this world is unreal on top of it. That is a foundation, there is no foundation, and that there is no God in control. It is produced by sex desire and has no cause other than lust. Bhagavad Gita chapter 16 verse 8. So atheistic rascals think that there is no God and that the creation has taken place by chance. Just as man and woman meet by chance, and the woman becomes pregnant and gives birth to a child, actually this is not a fact. No. The fact is that there is a purpose for this creation, and to give the conditioned soul a chance to return to this original consciousness, Krishna consciousness, and then return back home, back to Godhead, and be completely happy in the spiritual world. This is the purpose of this material world. In the material world, the conditioned soul is given a chance to satisfy senses. Satisfy. How much do you want to satisfy? Enjoy. But at the same time, he is informed by Vedic knowledge that this material world is not his actual place for happiness. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha dukkhanu darshanam. Bhagavad Gita chapter 13 verse 9. One must stop the repetition of birth and death. Every human being, therefore, should take advantage of this creation by understanding Krishna and his relationship with Krishna, and in this way return home back to Godhead. This is the purpose of creation. This is the purpose for which we are existing. How much pain Krishna has got. And there are unlimited living entities like us. And to reclaim us back, Krishna incarnates himself or sends his best devotees, best son, best propagator to bring us back. Now, along the way, the most munificent of all the incarnations of Krishna is that of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu's incarnation. He's a hidden incarnation also called. People don't know generally. When Advaita Acharya saw that just 5,000 years had gone by, that around 4,500 years had gone by, and people have already forgotten Krishna, he is screaming in Bhagavad Gita that devotional service to me is the best. People were not doing it. They were not accepting this. They were not. And for that reason, Advaita Acharya, was Mahavishnu himself, prayed to the Lord, giving him tulsi, dipping in Ma Ganga water, Ganges water, and offering to the Shaligram, saying, please come, please come. Just see, within 4,500 years this has happened. And that's why Lord Chaitanya appeared. Now we will see that how fortunate we are to be born in the similar time frame within 5,000-7,000 years of Krishna. We don't really understand who is Krishna. We really don't understand the importance of Krishna and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let us come to this, dwell into the subject matter very quickly. So in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are three confidential reasons given by Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. But these confidential reasons were actually given by Swarup Damodar. Swarup Damodar Goswami were one of the closest 3.5 devotees whom Lord Chaitanya recognized as closest and the best among devotees in the all material creation. Remember, 3.5. So he says the purpose of the creation the three principal purposes of his own. So Krishna came for reasons which are needed for people like us living in a material world, and three of his personal reasons. We'll start with the personal reasons and then come to the how these personal reasons are actually beneficial for us. So the first purpose was to relish the position of Srimati Radharani. This was his purpose to come. And as we discussed, that Krishna appears to reclaim all living beings back to Godhead. That is for our purpose. So now we are discussing his purpose. So he wanted to understand and relish, not just understand, but to relish the position of Srimati Radharani, who is the prime reciprocator of transcendental love of Krishna. So Krishna reciprocates with her, he reciprocates with everybody else. But with her, she is the prime reciprocator. She does something very special that she gets a prime special benediction. So Lord Krishna is a reservoir of transcendental loving transaction with Srimati Radharani. The subject of those loving transactions is Lord himself. You see? So subject of the transaction of love is Lord himself, which Radharani is enjoying. And Radharani is the object for the love. Does the subject, the Lord, want to relish the loving mellows in the possession of the object Radharani? So the Lord wants to understand how Radharani enjoys him. We'll come to the second reason. This will be more clear as we go by. The second reason for his appearance was to understand the transcendental mellow of himself, which he doesn't understand. So Krishna is all sweetness. Radharani's attraction for Krishna is sublime. It's very subtle. And to experience that attraction and understand the transcendental sweetness of himself, he accepted Radharani's mentality. It takes a bit of time to grapple these concepts. Okay? So this is the second reason why he came. And the third reason why the Lord came as Chaitanya is the third reason Lord Chaitanya appeared was to enjoy the bliss tasted by Radharani. Out of what? The previous two reasons. But she was enjoying the sweetness which the Lord was not enjoying. He is sweet. Just like the fruit, mango is very sweet, but mango doesn't know it's sweet. The person who's eating mango knows it's sweet. So for the Lord to enjoy his sweetness, which Radharani was enjoying so much, he came to experience. How beautiful it is. The Lord thought that undoubtedly Radharani enjoyed his company, and he enjoyed the company of Radharani. That's true. But the exchange of transcendental mellow between the spiritual couple were more pleasing to Radharani than to Krishna. Krishna knew this. So Radharani felt more transcendental pleasure in the company of Krishna than he could understand without taking her position. But for Sri Krishna to enjoy the position of Radharani was impossible because that position was completely foreign to him. Krishna is a transcendental male and Radharani is a transcendental female. Therefore, to know the transcendental male, the pleasure of loving Krishna, Lord Krishna himself appeared as Lord Chaitanya, accepting the emotions and thereby the bodily luster of Srimati Radharani. There are three confidential reasons why Krishna appeared as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Lord Chaitanya appeared to fulfill his confidential desires and also to preach the special significance of chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The dharma of the Yuga Dharma, to inaugurate the Yuga Dharma. He also came, but he said also to preach specifically, preach the significance of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and to answer the call of Advaita Prabhu as we discussed. These were secondary reasons. Because we are so absorbed in our own thinking that we do not consider the other person's difficulties and his desires. We just want for us, give me. For me, Krishna is coming. For me, Krishna is coming. For me. But he is coming for you. Yes, that's right. But there is something for him which is more special that is coming. So Krishna's one action has got multiple dimensions to it. So a devotee of Krishna, really a devotee of Krishna, is actually a very clever person. A foolish person cannot become a devotee of Krishna. Krishna ra bhaje sevara chatur. So every devotee of Krishna, it's a challenge for us also to understand the inner meanings, inner dealings of why Krishna does something, and not be so impulsive in our bhakti to Krishna and insist Krishna to bring him into our realm of our situations. No. Let us come now to his appearance, which forms part of his external reason, but they are very deep as well. So here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, he starts by offering prayers. He says, offer my respectful obeisances to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. By the potency of the shelter of his lotus feet, even a fool can collect valuable jewels of conclusive truth from the mines of revealed scriptures. Understand this point. There is a mine of revealed scriptures. There's only one revealed scripture. There are mines of it. Not mine, mines. And from there are few jewels which are very significant to be picked up and kept for our relationship with Krishna. And that is possible in Gaura Prem. So that's what he prays, the very first prayer. Then he says, all glories to Lord Chaitanya, all glories to Lord Nityananda, all glories to Advaita Acharya, and all glories to all the devotees of Lord Chaitanya. He says, excuse me, I'll change the book now. Right. Sorry, just so I can see things as I go. Yeah. So now here, he sings a particular shloka. He narrates a particular shloka. Let me narrate it and come to the translation. Anarpita charitam chirat karunayavartinah kalo samarpayitum unnatvojvala rasam swabhakti shriyam harihi purat sundara द्युति कदम्ब संदीपितः सदा हृदय कंदर स्फुरतु वह सची नंदना. It's very beautiful. The translation is this: May that Lord who is known as the son of Srimati Sachi Devi be transcendently situated in the innermost core of your heart, resplendent with the radiance of molten gold. He has descended in the age of Kali by his causeless mercy to bestow what no other incarnation has ever offered before: the most elevated mellow of devotional service, the mellow of conjugal love. This is a quotation from Virgada Madhava, a drama which was compiled and edited by Srila Rupa Goswami. So here, the Lord, here it is, the prayer is that the conjugal love, which is the most elevated mellow, it is this incarnation of Krishna which has given bestowing. And that is what the author, Sri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Maharaj, is praying to everyone who reads and understands about Lord Gauranga. Says Lord Krishna, the son of the king of Raja, is the supreme Lord. He eternally enjoys transcendental pastimes of his eternal abode Goloka, which includes Vrajadham. Once in a day of Brahma, he descends in this world to manifest his material pastimes. So, in one day of Brahma, how long is one Brahma's day? 432,000 times 10 times 1,000. How many Manus come in a day of Brahma? 14. What is the age of one Manu? 71 times 432,000 times 10. One Manu. And in one day of Brahma, Lord Krishna comes personally. We will understand the importance of this very soon. So, we know that there are 4 yugas: Satyuga, namely Satyuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, and Kali Yuga. These 4 yugas comprise one Divya Yuga, that is 432,000 times 10. 71 of Divya Yugas considered one Manvantara, means one Manu's life, and there are 14 Manus in one day of Brahma. Now, let's come now to the present calculation. The present Manu is the 7th Manu. It's called Vaivashvat Manu, the son of Vivaswan, sun god. He is also called Shadadeva Manu. The 27 Divya Yugas of his life has passed, already done. So, 27 times 432,000 times 10, his life has passed. And he lives for 71 of them. 27 is finished. So, we are on the 28th. Now, at the end of the Dwapar Yuga, of the 28th Divya Yuga, Lord Krishna appears on earth with the full paraphernalia of his eternal Vrajadham. Just imagine this now. If we were born, all us living beings, say on the 27th Yuga, okay, 27th, not 28th, Dwapar Yuga, there is no Krishna. Of course, there will be other incarnations of Krishna, but Krishna's incarnation, which is Vrajabhav, he brings the whole Vrajabhumi with him, Golok Vrindavan, we would not know. If we were born in the next Yuga cycle of the same Manu, 29th, we would not know. Although Bali Maharaj would be Indra, we would not know. Of course, Krishna's other incarnation would come. But the topmost form of love which Krishna can give, any incarnation can give, is his love without awe and reverence. That is Vraj Bhav, that is Vrindavan Bhav. That we at least can hear about and see those places in Vrindavan. Although 5,000 years ago he appeared. And they were lost. So 500 years ago, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu sent his disciples to say, now go and search them out for the future generation. We are very good in making a mess of ourselves. Such good opportunity has been given by Krishna. Himself spoke about Bhagavad Gita, but we have our own difficult interpretations, whimsical interpretations. And we don't even know about Vrajbha. We had forgotten about it. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu himself came. Now we come to those points. Although they are external, but they're hardly external. See, servitude, dasya rasa, friendship is sakya rasa, parental affection, vatsalya rasa. Conjugal love, shringar rasa, are the four transcendental mellows by the devotees who cherish these four mellows. By this only, Lord Krishna is subdued. So the Santa Rasa, which is missed out here, is a very grand idea for materialistic philosophers. Idealistic appreciation is only the beginning, because the reciprocation is not there. Servitude, friendship, parental, and shringar or madhurya, conjugal love. Now, Lord Krishna is completely absorbed in this transcendental love which he enjoys in Vraj with his devoted friends, servants, parents, and conjugal lovers. That's what he does. He has no business at all anything else. I remember one of a Christian missionary was talking to my friend and he says, you Krishna, you Hindus, you're talking Hindus there, you Hindus, you Krishna, your God does not do any work, he just enjoys. That's right, he doesn't understand. He said, what do I explain to him? He's telling me, Hare. What do I explain to him? Yeah, God doesn't need to work. He just enjoys this. So without being offensive, although this guy was very offensive, he was not offensive. Although he's not a devotee per se. He understands Krishna very little, but he has faith in Krishna. He did not argue. He says, no problem. Krishna always enjoys. He says this and left it at that. There's a difference between one who understands and one who really doesn't want to offend anybody. So, Krishna cherishes this. This is the Vraj mood. So Lord Krishna enjoys his transcendental pastimes as long as he wishes. And then he disappears. After disappearing, however, he thinks like this. So what is he thinking? He says, for a long time, I have not bestowed unalloyed loving service to me upon the inhabitants of this world, earth. Without such loving attachment, the existence of the material world is useless. Just see, he is thinking himself that there is no use of material world where they do not know about me and my loving relationship with them. Awe and reverence is okay, but it doesn't fulfill the purpose of the material existence, the creation of this whole material world. He's thinking like this. Everywhere in this world, people worship me according to scriptural injunctions. But simply by following such rules and regulations, the principles, the regulative principles, One cannot attain the loving sentiments of the devotees of Rajbhumi. With awe and reverence, we really cannot understand Krishna like what devotees of Vrindavan enjoy, Golok Vrindavan enjoy. He's thinking like this. He's saying, my opulence, knowing my opulence, the whole world looks upon me with awe and veneration. But devotion made feeble by such reverence does not attract me. Wow. So if you love Krishna, God, God, I worship you, I do this, very nice. It is very good. No, don't get me wrong. It is very nice thing to do. Many people do that. It is better than nothing to do. But to attract Krishna's heart, he is not interested in awe and reverence. But we have to be very careful. That doesn't mean tomorrow onward you start to say or do things. You should become very careless in your devotional service. Prabhupada says, no, no. We have to be very, very careful. Those of us who are in a program, we follow this very strictly. This is spontaneity which comes when Krishna in the heart gives us that spontaneity. And we will know this. Everything else is artificial. Artificial devotional service is suicide, is demoniac. We should never do this. So be very careful as we go through now. Very, very careful. Especially those who are from the beginners program and intermediate program devotees. Of course, even the leaders program too, even myself too. I have to be very, very careful as we go through and understand these points. Please. He says, by performing such regulated devotional service of awe and veneration, one may go to Vaikuntha and even attain the four kinds of liberation. So, what are the four kinds of liberation? Shasti is first. Shasti means achieving opulences equal to those of the Lord. This first kind of liberation. First of the four main kind. There are more also, but the four liberation. Second is Sarupya. That means having the form same as that of the Lord. Third liberation is Samipya. That means loving as a personal associate of the Lord. Samipya. Staying close to the Lord. And then fourth is Salokya. That is living in the same Vaikuntha planet like him. But devotees never accept Sayujya. That is oneness with Brahman, with the Lord. That is not acceptable. Devotees are not interested in this. Devotees don't do this. Sayujya, it is for impersonalists. All glories to them. But we don't do it. We are not interested in this. Mahaprabhu says this is spiritual suicide. That's called Sayujya. So the Lord is thinking and telling himself, I shall personally inaugurate the religion of the age. Kali Yuga, Nama Sankirtan, the congregational chanting of the holy name. I shall make the world dance in ecstasy, realizing the four mellows of loving devotional service. What are those we discussed? Mellows, that of Sakhya, Dasya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. I shall accept the role of a devotee, he's thinking, and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it himself, or by myself. This is what he's telling. This is external reason. But as we started, we thought why he came as a devotee? Because he wanted to experience what his topmost devotee was experiencing, Radharani. So he came as a devotee for that. So it's a hint, it's a challenge for us in our bhakti. When Mahaprabhu says that of all the devotees, gopis are the best. Gopi bhartur pada kamalayor das dasa no das. And among them, Radharani is the best. So that's why, with that understanding, we say, when we understand this particular mood of Krishna, to say, I shall accept the role of a devotee and I shall teach devotional service by practicing it myself, he's saying. It says, unless one practices devotional service himself, he cannot teach it to others. This conclusion is indeed confirmed throughout Gita and Bhagavatam. Whenever then the important verse comes, yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyuthanam dharmasya tadatmanam sujamyaham. Whenever and wherever there's a decline in religious practice, so descendant of Bharat, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself. And then the very next verse, Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkratam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. So what did he say? Annihilate the miscreants, re-establish religious principles, and to give mercy to his devotees. And he's saying, Bhagavad Gita quotation is given, if I do not show proper principles of religion, all these worlds would fall into ruin. I would be a cause of unwanted population and would spoil all these living beings. And then he says, Yad yad acharati shreshthas tatad eva taroj janaha sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever actions a great man performs, common men follow. And whatever standards he sets by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. So he's giving this logic to himself. This is what I should do. If I do it, people will do it. And then he thinks further. My plenary portions can establish the principles of religion of this age, of each age, no problem. Because there are Yuga avatars also, Manvantara avatars also. But he's saying that any of my portion can do this, re-establish a religion of this age. He says, but no one but me, however, can bestow the kind of loving service performed by the residents of Braj. Because it's very confidential. Only he can do it. So Krishna was thinking like this. There may be many, all auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead, he's saying. But who other than Lord Krishna can bestow love of God upon the surrendered souls? This is a quotation from Bilaw Thakur's Laghu Bhagavatam. So repeating again, there may be many all auspicious incarnations of the personality of Godhead. But who other than Lord Krishna himself can bestow love of God upon the surrendered soul? Therefore, the Lord says, in my company, in the company of my devotees, he's saying, I shall appear on earth and perform various colorful pastimes. Thinking like this, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna himself descended at Nadia early in the age of Kali. Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki Jai, Sridham Mayapur ki Jai. Thus, lion-like Lord Chaitanya appeared in Navadvip. He has shoulders of a lion, the powers of a lion, and a loud voice of a lion. I'd just like to discuss one point here about when he's saying that thinking thus, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna himself descended in Nadia early in the age of Kali. So it's called Prathama Sandhya, means first part. According to astronomical calculation, every age is divided into 12 parts. The first part of these divisions is known as Prathama Sandhya. Prathama Sandhya, first part, means starting of this age, and at the same time, finishing of the previous age. That's called Shesha Sandhya, the last division of the preceding age. They form the junction of the two ages. So according to Surya Siddhanta, the Prathama Sandhya of Kali Yuga lasts 36,000 solar years, 36,000 years. And Lord Chaitanya appeared in Prathama Sandhya after 4,586 solar years of Kali Yuga had passed. Means if you see after Lord Krishna's disappearance, Kali Yuga started. So he appeared at 4,516. And if you see the calculations, we are about 430, 400 years ago after Lord Chaitanya's appearance. How fortunate we are. How fortunate we are. Then he says, may that lion be seated in the core of the heart of every living being. Thus, with his resounding roar, he may drive away one's elephantine vices. Because only lion can bring down an elephant. No human being can. So in his early pastimes, he was known as Vishwambar because he floods the whole world with the nectar of devotion and thus saves the living beings. He's called Vishwambar. The verbal root of the word Vishwambar indicates that nourishing and maintaining. So Lord Chaitanya nourishes and maintains the three worlds by distributing the love of God. That's why he was called Vishwambar. In his later pastimes, he is known as Sri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Sri Krishna. That's how he is given different names. Now we must understand few things about this. See, Lord Chaitanya remained a householder only until his age of 24 years had passed. Then he entered the renounce order or sannyas order and remained manifest in this material world until his 48th year. He lived only for that years, so many years. Therefore, the Shesha Leela, or the final portion of his activities, lasted 24 years. So first 24 years and 24 years later. Now, some of the Vaishnavas, so-called Vaishnavas, say that renounced order of life is not accepted in Vaishnava Sampradaya or disciplic association from Lord Chaitanya. Now, this is not very intelligent proposition. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas order from Sripad Keshav Bharti. He was not from Vaishnava Sampradaya. Keshav Bharti belonged to Shankara sect, Mayavad, Shankaracharya, which approves only 10 names for sannyasis. So long before the advent of Sripad Shankaracharya, however, the sannyas order existed in the Vaishnava line of Vishnu Swami. In the Vishnu Swami Vaishnava Sampradaya, there are 10 different kinds of sannyas names and 108 different kinds of sannyasis who accept the Tridanda, the triple staff of sannyas. Like Vaishnavas, we've got Tridanda, Mayavad sannyasis have got one danda only. This is approved by Vedic rules. Therefore, Vaishnava sannyas was existent even before Shankaracharya. Although those who know nothing about Vaishnava sannyas, Prabhupada says, unnecessarily declare there is no sannyas in Vaishnava Sampradaya. You see? Because sannyasi, Mahaprabhu accepted from Shankaracharya. So during the time of Lord Chaitanya, the influence of Shankaracharya in the society was very, very strong. You see? People thought that one could accept sannyas only from the disciplic succession of Shankaracharya. So Lord Chaitanya could have performed his missionary activities as a householder. But he found householder life an obstruction to his mission. You see, and we want to enjoy a householder life. So therefore, he decided to accept the renounced order of sannyas. Now, since his acceptance of sannyas was also designed to attract public attention, which other people minimize Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He was . 4 years only. So Lord Chaitanya, not wishing to disturb the social convention, took the renounced order of life from a sannyasi in the disciplic succession of Shankaracharya. Although sannyas was also sanctioned in the Vaishnava Sampradaya. You see? Now in Shankara Sampradaya, there are 10 names which are awarded to sannyasis. Now we'll know how the name was given. First name which Shankara Sampradayas, Mayavadis they give sannyasis is Tirtha, Ashrama, Vana, Aryana, Giri, Parvata, Sagar, Saraswati, Bharti, and Puri. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's sannyas guru himself was Keshav Bharti. So before one enters sannyas, he has one of the various names for a brahmachari, the assistant of a sannyasi. So sannyasis with the title of Tirtha and Ashrama generally stay at Dwarka, and the brahmachari name is Swarup. Those whose name is Vana and Arna, Prabhupada gives his explanation. They stay in Purushottam or Jagannath Puri, and their brahmachari name is Prakash. And then they get this other sannyasa names. Those with the names Giri, Parvat, Sagar generally stay at Badrikashrama, and their brahmachari name is Ananda. And those with the title of Saraswati, Bharti, and Puri usually live in Sringari in South India, and their brahmachari name is Chaitanya. Sripad Shankaracharya established those 4 monasteries in India in 4 directions of north, south, east, and west, and he entrusted them to 4 sannyasis who were his disciples. Now there are hundreds of branches of monasteries under these 4 principal monasteries, and although there are official symmetry among them, there are many differences in their dealings. So, according to regulation of the disciplic succession, one who wishes to enter renounced order in the Shankara sect must first be trained as a brahmachari under a bona fide sannyasi. So, the sannyasi's name is ascertained according to the group to which sannyasi belongs. So, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas from Keshav Bharti. So, when he first approached Keshav Bharti, he was accepted as a brahmachari with the name Sri Krishna Chaitanya Brahmachari. After he took sannyas, he preferred to keep the name Krishna Chaitanya. This is how the name Krishna Chaitanya came. So the great authorities in the disciplic succession had not offered to explain why Lord Chaitanya refused to take the name Bharti after he took sannyas from Bharti, until our lion guru Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada volunteered the explanation of why he did not take the name Bharti. He said that because a sannyasi in the Shankar Sampradaya thinks that he has become the supreme Lord Chaitanya, has become the supreme God himself. Lord Chaitanya, wanting to avoid such misconception, kept his name as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, placing himself as a servitor eternally of the Lord. So brahmachari is supposed to serve the spiritual master. Therefore, he did not negate that relationship of servitude to his spiritual master. Accepting such a position is favorable for the relationship between disciple and spiritual master. So, the authentic biographies of Lord Chaitanya also mentions that he accepted a danda, a rod, begging pot, the symbolic of sannyas order at the time of sannyas. So this is how, although Lord Chaitanya taking initiation from Keshav Bharati still kept the name of his brahmachari and did not accept Bharati. And the explanation was given by Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Nobody else has given the explanation previously. So, in his later pastimes, he is known as Lord Shri Krishna Chaitanya. He blesses the whole world by teaching about the name and fame of Lord Shri Krishna. Knowing him, the Lord Chaitanya, to be the incarnation of Kali Yuga, Garga Muni, during the naming ceremony of Krishna, predicted about his appearance. Remember, we had discussed this particular verse. He told what had happened was that Vasudeva knew that Krishna is his son, and so did Nanda Maharaj knew that Vasudeva and Balaram, Krishna and Balaram were Vasudeva's son. So Vasudeva, when the time was right, very quietly he sent Garga Muni, his priest, to say, now please go into the name giving ceremony. So that's why this name giving ceremony of Krishna and Balaram was done in a shed, away from limelight. Now there's a big pompous ceremony. It was done separately, quietly. And Garga Muni did that. And at that time, Garga Muni, he referred and he said, Asan varnastrayo hyasya grunatu no yugam tanuhu shuklo rakta statha pita idanam krishnatam gataha. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam 10th canto, 8th chapter, verse number 13. He says, this boy, that is Krishna, Garga Muni is telling Nanda Maharaj, this boy Krishna has three other colors: white, red, and yellow. He appears in different ages in these different colors. Now he has appeared in a transcendental blackish color. This is the fourth color. Hare Krishna. So red, white, and yellow, these are the three bodily lusters of the Lord, the husband of goddess of fortune. When he assumes different incarnations in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, and Kali Yuga respectively. Now in the Dwapar Yuga, the Lord had descended in a blackish hue. This is the essence of the statements of the Puranas, the Vedic literatures, with reference to the context. So here, again there's a verse in the Bhagavatam, it is mentioned in 11th canto, which we have to refer. It's a very important verse. Dwapare Bhagavan Shyamah Pitavasa Nijayudhah Shri Vatsadibhir Ankaischa Lakshaner Upalakshitah. So here it is said that in the Dwapar Yuga, the personality of Godhead appears in a blackish hue. He is dressed in yellow. He holds his own weapon and is decorated with a Kaustuba jewel and marks of Srivatsa. This is his symptoms. These are the symptoms. This is how his symptoms are described. Excuse me. So this is spoken by Saint Karabhajana, one of the 9 royal mystics who explained King Nimi about the features of the Lord in different ages. So the religious practice for the age of Kali is to broadcast the glories of the holy name. That's it. Only for this purpose has the Lord in a yellow color descended as Lord Chaitanya. Now the luster of his expansive body resembles molten gold. The deep sound of his voice conquers the thundering of newly assembled clouds. Description is given of Lord Chaitanya. One who measures 4 cubits of height and a breadth by his own hand is celebrated as a great personality. You know, such a person is called Nyogradha Parimandala. Nyagrodha Parimandala. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who personifies all good qualities, has a body of a Nyagrodha Parimandala. That means his hand measurement can measure his 4 of them, measures his body. Height. And the breadth by his hand. His arms are long enough to reach his knees, and his eyes are just like lotus flowers. His nose is like a sesame flower, and his face is as beautiful as the moon. Anyone has seen sesame flower? Search out. We can use Google for that. His face is as beautiful as the moon. He is peaceful, self controlled, and fully devoted to his transcendental service of Lord Shri Krishna. He is affectionate towards his devotees, he is gentle, and is equally disposed towards all living beings. He is decorated with sandalwood bangles and armlets and anointed with pulp of sandalwood. He especially wears these decorations and dance in Sri Krishna Sankirtana. Recording all these activities of Lord Chaitanya, the sage Vaishamprayana included his name in the Vishnu Sahasranam. So if people read Vishnu Sahasranam, 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu, Lord Chaitanya's name is mentioned there. And who's the author of that? Sage Vaishampayan. So the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya have 2 divisions. The early pastimes, Adi Leela, and the later pastimes, Shesha Leela. And he has 4 names for the Leelas. So first he describes the confidential truths of the personality of Godhead. Second, he satisfies everyone by the knowledge and attachment to Krishna. He is peaceful because he renounces all topics not related to the service of Krishna. If we stop talking of anything except Krishna, we can become peaceful. There is a hint there. When I will learn, I do not know. In Srimad Bhagavatam, it is repeatedly and clearly said that the essence of religion in the age of Kali is the chanting of the holy name of Krishna. And then a famous verse, Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangha Pangasta Parshadam Yagnehi Sankirtana Prayer Yajanti hi Sumedhasaha. In this age of Kali, intelligent persons perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself, and is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. So, O king, in this way, in Dwapar Yuga, worship the Lord of the universe. In Kali Yuga, they also worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead by the regulations of revealed scriptures. But in Kali Yuga, in the age of Kali, intelligent men perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the name of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, he is Krishna himself. He is accompanied by his associates, servants, weapons, and confidential companions. At this stage, I would like to ask, does anyone has any questions on what we discussed so far? No questions? I thought there were 4, 5 questions, man. I was so worried. You ask me a question, I
Hare
will
Krishna,
not
Prabhu.
know. Parth, be careful. You are in the beginners program, just trying to move to intermediate. These are very heavy topics. You all are nicely here. We give you the chance so you can hear something. Right, but please feel free. I don't want to discourage you, please.
Yeah, Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. My question was basically about you said that Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes every like once in a day of Brahma, right?
Krishna comes.
Krishna comes once in a day of Brahma.
Yes.
And so, can you also tell about Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his appearance cycle? Like, does he come every Dwapar Yuga?
No, it's very special. That's why it's hidden incarnation. Not Dwapar, it's Kali. Mahaprabhu is
Oh,
Kali.
yeah, in every Kali. Yeah.
Okay. So even now it is hidden incarnation. People do not know. Because he never accepted himself to be incarnation of Krishna. Okay. Any other questions? Or something to say? Please feel free.
Hare Krishna.
Haribol.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu referred, as you mentioned earlier, his guru, sannyas guru was Bharti, right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu referred to himself as Sri Krishna Chaitanya.
Yeah, he accepted as a brahmachari name, continued brahmachari name. That's how Sri Krishna Chaitanya took it. Yeah.
Right.
Krishna Chaitanya.
Sorry. Yeah. And so the Mahaprabhu designation was
Was
given.
later by the devotees.
Okay.
Because he can't be Prabhu. You got this point?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Haribol.
Prabhu, thank you for giving so much information, and they are really very valuable. My question, or I just want to clarify this, that in Bhagavad Gita, we study and we read, and Krishna says that I am covered by my own energies. Means if we can understand Krishna as much as he wants to understand us. But here you are saying that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is hidden incarnation. So, is there any relation between this hidden and Krishna is covered by this? And if not, then what is hidden mean?
Okay, good question. Good question. There's a big difference between the incarnation when Krishna came himself, Krishna is the Bhagavan Swayam, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is also Krishna himself fully, but it's called as an incarnation. You see, Mahaprabhu, Krishna came to talk about Vrajbha. There are full descriptions about it. Okay? And his mood was, you first surrender, then I'll reveal it to you. If you don't surrender, I'll not be revealed to you. This is the point when you say that he is I'm covered by my Devi Esha Gunamai Maya Durataya. So people say, oh, Krishna, he's not. He's ordinary people. Okay? Right. So we start with awe and reverence, and then as he reveals himself, then we go a bit more acquainted. We love him. Reciprocation begins. Now, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's hidden incarnation is that he did not accept himself to be God because he came as a devotee. If he accepts himself to be God, then what will he say? He is coming as Radharani to worship Krishna in Krishna's body. So if he says, I'm God, but I've come as God, but for my devotees, no. So that's why even amongst devotees, even as Prabhupada says that even when accepting sannyas, people have misunderstanding. So even with this, people may misunderstand very clearly. So there is a meaning when he says that he came as a devotee because he wanted to experience love of God. And as we discussed the personal reasons, 3 reasons, among them was that the sweetness what he's experiencing, he doesn't know sweetness. As I said, if you have a mango does not know how sweet it is. Only a taster can taste it. How sweet it is. So how taste? So I can't. It's so nice, tasty. He said, what Mango will ask? Keep on asking, how much taste? What do you mean by taste? How sweet? How sweet? Mango will not know. For that, he has to taste himself. For that, he become a taster. That is the point. Is this okay, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhuji, you are absolutely right when and make a lot of sense. In fact, it makes sense. Even amongst the confidential devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, I have read, maybe I may be corrected, that even when devotees will call him, his confidential devotee, that where Krishna himself, actually he will feel very embarrassed. He doesn't want to accept it. Yeah, it was right. Yes. Yeah, yes, Prabhu.
And even amongst devotees also of Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada would never accept himself to be pure devotee. He would make such a face that next time the devotees would not call him pure devotee. So that is why he was satisfied. Here Mahaprabhu was satisfied because thinking only about Krishna as a devotee. He did not take the name Bharti because he wanted to remain as a servant of Krishna, as Krishna Chaitanya, keeping like this only. He was satisfied. We have to learn from these things. Similarly, we as devotees, for us to be satisfied, we should be satisfied in our bhakti. We don't need name, fame, adoration of any kind. No need for it. Sit quietly and chant, study, no problem. If somebody asks a question, give an answer if you want to. Otherwise, don't. You answer your own questions. You have so many things to be answered yourself, man. So much difficulty. But these are very confidential. We are just touching the surface of it.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much for very nice class, Prabhuji. A lot of technical information. Prabhuji, my question is actually, I think I asked this question before as well, long time ago. And as you explained, how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. And as we know that actually Srila Prabhupada and generally Vaishnava Sampradaya means we do not accept impersonalist philosophy. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took the sannyas from Keshav Bharati, who is from the Shankar Sampradaya. And you also mentioned that actually Vaishnava Sampradaya did exist before that Shankar.
Yeah.
So means why actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu chose to take sannyas from in that line, actually from the impersonalism, because he himself called the impersonalism is like a suicide, spiritual suicide. So I just actually
discussed, it is already mentioned that the normal convention at the time was that Shankaracharya were the only sannyasis. That was generally known. And he did not want to do or stop any normal usage, create any dissension among society, because he had a big purpose to achieve. He was on a mission to achieve. So this, at some point in time, this becomes external. Whether you're sannyasi or not, what difference does it make? Change of dress, right? But even if maybe grahastha, but you're sannyasi. So thinking like that on those points, he said, I don't want to change any social convention. He accepted sannyas from Keshav Bharati. And with that, he became brahmachari and continued with it. In fact, when he met Sarabhama Bhattacharya, he was himself in Jagannath Puri. Sarabhama Bhattacharya himself, he was a Mayavadi sannyasi. So he actually told Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, what are you doing? You're sannyasi, you can't dance like this. He was Mayavadi, he was heading as a priest, and he was the authority in Jagannath Puri temple. So when Mahaprabhu saw Jagannath and he fainted first time, Sarabhama Bhattacharya, he took and said, take him. No, he's not. He's people wanted to beat him up. He said, what is this nonsense, this madman, foam coming and all those things, shaking and all. He said, don't touch. These are symptoms which are transcendental. Take him to my house. And then took him to the house and then made him rest. And then he said, you are sannyasi, you cannot do like this. So now I'll teach you how to become a sannyasi. So he spoke for 7 days non-stop. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard him sitting quietly, not giving any response. See, he did not fight. No response, just kept quiet. Listen to him. And after 7th day, he asked him, my dear man, young boy, are you understanding what I'm trying to say? You are not saying yes, not saying no, not asking question. Is it going into your brain, head? What are you doing? And then Mahaprabhu spoke, and he pointed out his mistakes in the 7 days of discourse which he gave. He pointed out, this day, this time you mentioned this was wrong. It is not correct. This day this was wrong. And that's when his eyes lit up. He said, who are you? What are you? So, and then he became his disciple, follower, Sarabhama Bhattacharya. And it was he then who told him, you're going to South India, you must go and meet Ramananda Raya. I made a mistake because I was impersonalist. I thought him to be an ordinary person, ordinary devotee. He's actually a big governor of Madras, modern day Madras at the time. I told him he's something like this, not a problem. Now that I became personalist under your guidance, now I can understand what ecstasy he was talking about on Shringar Rasa. He is topmost. You must go and meet him. That's when Mahaprabhu went and met Ramananda Raya, and the famous discourse took place. Now, if you go deeper, you'll be surprised who Ramananda Raya is, who this is, Yeah. So, coming to the point that it was very prevalent, Mayavad philosophy, and for not stopping, and that was the one which he wanted to destroy. Mahaprabhu wanted to destroy Mayavad philosophy. So he could not have started in the right place if he said this. Okay, no problem. I took sannyas, but I'm talking about this. Just like in a simplistic form, as I told you already, that we can be sannyasis now. Why do you need to change the dress? In the house, remain sannyasi. What is needed, you do the work, otherwise you do your business. That's it. You are satisfied, peaceful, full stop. Do your job, do your things, finished. So these are external things. With Ramananda Raya, when Mahaprabhu asked, tell me, what is the best way for human society to love God? He said, Varnashram system. He said, no. Varnashram is not important. It's external designation. Tell me more. See? Varnashram talks about brahmacharya, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyas, and brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, shudra. So these are bodily designations. Talk about love. That's why in our Srila Prabhupada gave Brahman initiation to even ladies. They are equally as good. So we do not discriminate between, especially the Vaishnavis. They can do everything that man can do. Equally go back to Godhead, no problem. Body, moment as a bodily designation, it's not going to work. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah. Yeah, he did actually, means even if he took sannyas, actually, he sort of actually, he did not accept their philosophy. He actually broke the norms and
Yeah.
he preached what he preached. Yeah.
Yeah. Even Prakashananda Saraswati he met in Kashi Vishwanath. Big, such a big impersonalist. You know, the discussion, even there were one or two devotees only, Vaishnavas in that Kashi Vishwanath in that place, Prakashananda Saraswati, big man, big. He said, "Why are you dancing like this? Sannyasi cannot dance like this and sing. You can't do this. You don't have any knowledge." He chastised him in front of the whole crowd of his disciples. Prakashananda Saraswati was with his disciples. So he told, why are you doing this? You cannot do this. You don't have any knowledge? Lord Mahaprabhu answered to him. He said, "I'm very sorry. Actually, my Guru Maharaj was very clear, was very clever. He said that you are dumb, you are dumb-headed, you don't have no intelligence. So you just chant Krishna's name. This is your only salvation. That's what I'm doing here. So please excuse me. Problem solved." If somebody calls you dumb, you say, "Yes, thank you, I'm dumb." Problem solved. You do your business. No problem. You're an idiot. Okay. It's your opinion. If you can't say it's your opinion, you just say you're an idiot. Okay. You are a foolish person. Okay. But you do your work. Who's stopping you from doing your work? Correct? That man will say, "You are foolish. You are an idiot. You should not do this." You say, "Okay." And you do your work. And I'm telling you, you are an idiot. You are still doing it. I said, "You are telling me I'm an idiot." Yeah. It's your opinion. You are right to have your opinion. And you keep doing your work. It's a very clever thing to do. Problem solved. So even now it is very big existence, Prakashananda, those Mayava Sampradaya. You'll be surprised to know that there are references in Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita Prabhupada gives of devotees who are covered personalists throughout their lives. Because personalism was so dangerous that impersonalists would go and kill them. To such an extent that he actually translated Bhagavatam in coded languages. So that in the future, some devotee will come and decode it. It happened after some generations. Came, decoded, and we have Bhagavatam as we are. And that devotee's reference is given even now. And even today, I have heard in my research, this impersonalist Bhagavad philosophers, sannyasis, when they speak, they say, Chaitanya, religion, Gaudiya Math, Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, they also accept one of us as their authority. And I can tell you, if you had not studied and done research, you'll be confused. I'll give more information as we go further. What is people who decoded, who wrote it, and all those things. That is not part of the discussion today, but as a reference, what I'm trying to say. So he was a personalist, but he lived impersonalist throughout his life. And he wrote Bhagavatam in a decoded way, which was accepted by impersonalists that time. We were thinking that in the future generation, somebody will come and he'll again encode it with my coded language, which happened. He encoded, and we got Bhagavatam as it is now. What more do you want now? You tell me. So much authorities have taken pains to preserve this knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is said that if you study Bhagavatam from 0, first canto onwards, 9th canto, by the time you come to the 9th canto, you will be a theist, you will accept God. Then come to 10th canto. That's why when people read, you read 10th canto like Krishna book and all is okay, but you can get confused very fast. Because there's Radha Krishna's love and Gopi's love and words are used and you'll be thinking it is normal, man. My Bollywood, Hollywood style. That's why it's very. But Prabhupada said you can have it, you can really read. So we're not saying no, but be very, very careful on the 10th canto. Don't do it. The Prabhupada's Krishna book has a lot of philosophy with it, That is what it is. On its own, you cannot read. So that's good enough. Prabhupada gives us hammering, Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
We should clarify this more, And we can discuss this further. Who are these people in the next, when the topic is of that relevance,
Yes, I think you mentioned that in the past. I think something Baldev Vidyabhushan and all that. I think
No.
no, it's different. Okay.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Haribol! Dandavas, I
So,
you.
Pranam Prabhuji.
Happy God
Like-
Purnima to you, Prabhuji.
Thank you very much, all of you. Really great. My question is, I don't want to go other Prajalpa. I just jump into the topic now. As you said, for Sampradaya, like you mentioned, like they spread east, west, and south. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyasa from Keshava Bharati, because he at that time, as you said, the Shankara philosophy was very powerful in that area. That means when you go back to the Ramanujacharya, in the South India, even though Ramanujacharya, he is also this philosophy is like a Visishta Advaita.
Yeah.
They're talking about Krishna's is not alone. Krishna is manifestation. He comes with all his appearances in potencies. Even is oneness and in diversity. But because when he came to Ramananda Rai in South India, and without any much encumbrances or talking with the Sarva Bhuma Bhattacharya, Prakash Nand Saraswati, even Keshava Kashmir, they're all very big Mayavadis in that. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu knows that the sampradaya, different sampradaya, how important is Krishna is. But even though he took the sannyas from Keshava Bharati, but my question is, did he propagate this other philosophy during his time in that period of take the sannyasi time? He was preaching like a Banaras and all. Did he preach those other sampradaya philosophy as well?
No, it's not practical. It's not come to my reading, Prabhuji. It's not come to my reading this point.
Okay.
He would not be for any practical reason. He came with a specific purpose, his Yuga Avatar. So he would not preach any other thing.
Okay, great. Yeah, that's clear. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Oh, sorry. Else the information.
Yes, Prabhuji. I had a question. It was that actually what Parth Prabhu also asked. Is there there is a yug cycle, like Krishna appears in every yug, right? In every day of Brahma. In every day of Brahma, Krishna appears once. So is there this kind of appearance cycle for Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as well?
You're asking the same question from him, eh? How come you
Yes, Prabhuji, because you didn't say if there is an appearance cycle or not. So that is what I was Like, does he come more than once, or like was this just once that he came, or is there an appearance cycle that he follows?
No, it doesn't. It doesn't come. Doesn't come. Doesn't come. If you have better answer to
Hare Krishna, I have a question. Can I ask?
Sure. I mean, as I said, we cannot invite you people and say don't ask questions. This is fine. Please ask questions.
You mentioned earlier on in the lecture that Mahaprabhu had 3.5 devotees. No?
Yeah.
Yeah, so like, what I just wanted to understand why 3.5. What does that mean?
There were those devotees who were there, Swarup Damodar, then I mentioned Swarup Damodar. Then there is Ramananda Raya and Sikhi Mahiti and Sikhi Mahiti's sister. Okay, there are 3.5 which are qualified devotees. And there are other devotees, like Paramanand Saraswati, Ramananda Raya, the Paramanand Saraswati, Swarup Damodar, they know him very, very well. So in the last stage, see, I'm not qualified to go much deeper on the subject matter, I also have got limited, information, limited knowledge. Like, if by the mercy of Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada and all the Vaishnavas and Mahaprabhu or Nityananda Prabhu, if we all one day would go with coronavirus finishing and come to Mayapur and Vrindavan, to go with us, there's a place called Gambhira. This will give you some information about what I'm talking about and how delicate it is. So in that area, you have got the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also, and very dilapidated condition house. You would think that, wow, Bhattacharya's house would be in very dilapidated condition. They were trying to restore things and all. Then we went. There was also a tunnel from his house where he could go from the tunnel straight into Jagannath Puri temple, which is now blocked. You can go, but it's blocked. You can see it is blocked now. Okay. Similarly, there's a place called Gambhira, which is very, very transcendentally electrifying place. We thought that Rangamahal in Vrindavan was electrifying. Wait till you go to Gambhira. There is a place where it is locked. So there's a place outside, you can see the temple and all these things there. Inside, they allow you to just go there 1-2 steps, and the steps down, and there's a lock and key. That's it. Nobody allows. Nobody can go inside, and you can feel the intensity, the vibration there of what is it? I'll tell you. There is a place during the last stages of Mahaprabhu's disappearance. He lived there, and he completely lost his consciousness in love for Krishna. How one absorbs. Once he ran away from his place, and they found him. One Muslim fisherman. He said, I found a man like a fish. I don't even know. He's not even a man. You're thinking. He had compressed in the sides with 2 hands and 2 legs and a face like this. And he put him in a net, pulled him out from the sea of Puri Sea. So all these devotees were searching for him frantically. They found him. He was him only. They went out and he was in ecstasy. They pulled him out, caught it, brought him back. He back to his normal senses. These are all extraordinary situations. Limbs can change. How do you explain this in material science viewpoint? Doctor, madam, you can't explain this. Limbs are changing. You can't explain this. Similarly, he would then, in his ecstasy, he would bang his head on the wall, on the separation for Krishna. And there are still blood marks there. So these kind of, and that's why you're locked out. You can't see it, but you can feel the intensity. When I'm talking to you people, I can still feel the intensity there. It was so heavy stuff. And good they locked it out. We can't bear it. We can't bear the separation that he was depicting or showing. So at that time, people, only few of them understood what is going on with it. Paramananda Puri, Garadhar Pandit, Jagadananda, and Sarup Damodar. They served him in that primary erotic Madhura Rasa, Shringar Rasa. And they could understand the depth of what he was feeling. Others could not even understand what he was feeling. Okay? So these are stages which information also we can give as we progress, otherwise it becomes too baffling. So that's why Mahaprabhu, he will be now known around the world. But about him, we have to be a little careful. We are very careful about him. It's particular. He says, I'm not God, so we cannot say he's God, but he's still God. How do you explain this to people? He says, don't call me God, so how can you say he's God? But these are how, and who are those people are different. They are incarnations of different personalities. When we go to that level, we'll understand, like even this Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya from Jagannath Puri, he's incarnation of Brihaspati. No doubt he was a Mayavadi then, But that's why it's a post-graduation study. Not graduation, but post-graduation study. And incarnations of everyone, don't misunderstand it. Bhagavatam also talks about, Bhagavatam was written up to, we are in the 7th Manu, right? Till now, to the age of Krishna. So from 1st Manu to 7th Manu, all Manus are given, all incarnations are given of Krishna. From 8th onwards also it is given. They are going to come. The names of the Manu, the names of the incarnations, and briefly what will they do? But Mahaprabhu's incarnation is a very, very, very special because he shows us how love for Krishna is done by Vrindavan. That's what Krishna wants. This is how Krishna wants, the love and separation. We have not found, he never found him. So Mahaprabhu would say, Krishna, where are you? And he would bang his head to say, I have not seen Krishna. I want to see Krishna. Show me, show me. Don't hold me. He would not eat. He would, complete madman. That's why all others who are not devotees, they call him madman and all this, I even read about him in some Catholic Christian missionary papers. This whole day call him madman. He would jump on the tree and all those things, right? Yeah. So now that's information they have got among training for themselves. It's up to them. But so his incarnation is very special. And it teaches us what feelings Radharani experiences and Gopi's experience for Krishna. That feeling. And he says that I like that feeling. I am their servant of the servant of the servant who's the servant of those gopis. There you go. Not some big sadhus and all that, men of these women, transcendental women. That's called Gopi Bhav. Is this okay? Don't ask me anything more. I do not know. After this, I'm blank. But now I'm blank. So please excuse me.
Yes.
Hare Krishna.
Very well.
Actually, Padma was also written down a question on chat. But I just have a quick question. From from what we've understood today, that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually said that I'm not God, right? That do not accept that position. I just have a question: that did Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ever show his...
Yeah. His form as God. Yep, sure.
Okay.
He's shown.
To a select few...
Yep, absolutely. He is God for sure. He can do anything. He got Sudarshan Chakra also.
Jagan Madai.
Yeah. He can do whatever. He can do anything. He had his roop of Nrsimha also. But a different kind of Nrsimha. Gaura Simha is different. Is it okay? Okay, Path is saying, how can you differentiate between someone who is mentally not balanced with someone who is truly feeling the love of Krishna? I can't answer this question. I'm sorry. I do not know. Only when we are in that topmost stage of devotion that we can understand who is a pure devotee. If you are not in a pure state of devotional service of pure devotee, how do you know somebody is pure devotee? I have not attained that stage, so I do not know this answer. But yes, people can differentiate between a pure devotee and who is not a pure devotee. There are symptoms which you can follow. Is this okay, Parth? You got
Yes,
both
Prabhu, thank you.
answers? I don't want anybody to go without answers. Have you got both the answers?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Prabhuji,
Very well.
the question just now, because when you say like a pure devotee, like is in the Uttamadhikari, is it that it is like, that's the meaning? Is it?
No, it says that how do you know a person is mad and a person is a pure devotee?
Oh, okay.
So only when somebody is mad in someone's in love for Krishna, can he show some symptoms of madness. And that only a person who has shown that madness can understand who that madness is.
That's right.
That's what
Perfect.
do you want to say
Thank
something? Please feel free, Prabhuji. You are very senior devotee. You can.
Oh, no. I'm just following. No, still, I'm learning. No, I got that point. You are perfectly right. That's right. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just waiting for. Is it it? I thought there were so many questions still.
So, Hare Krishna, I'm sorry. The Achintya Beda Abeda Tattva that we talk about, was that established by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, or was that established by Madhvacharya?
No. By Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Okay. Yeah. So before Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Vaishnavism, as you mentioned, was still existing. But from what I understand, it wasn't this concept of, the Achintya Beda and Abeda was not existing prior to that.
No, their understanding was not there.
Okay, so they didn't have that proper understanding. Right, okay. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for nice class and a lot of information. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas. One of the reason was that so people won't commit offenses against him.
Yeah, they took him to a small young man, His disciples, his followers used to just laugh at him, We'll not follow you. You are just a young man like us. I'm older than you also, some of them would say.
And because the the impersonalist sannyas was the prominent that time. Like everybody respected those sannyasis in society. So that was the reason. Another point I realized that when you said that long before the personalists were hidden, like impersonalists, even they used to kill them. So it's like nowadays we see most of like yavanas and most of conversion things happening. So it's a similar sort of situation always existed, that when the pure devotion of bhakti is preserved by few and carried on. So I think there is so Lord Chaitanya predicted the next 10,000 years would be the golden age. So that would be carried forward by devotees, and it's up to us if we participate in that, or we.
Sorry, the last point.
About the personalist and impersonalist, yes. So because other religion or yavanas, they are also comes in Mayavadis,
No, yavanas means no. Malechas and yavanas, they do not follow Vedic system.
But they believe in the energy form of the Lord.
Something like that, yeah. But they do not follow Vedic way of life.
Yeah,
like
that's the difference.
Varnashram and all that,
Yeah, because obviously the impersonalists, they were following Vedic ways of life. Yes, but I mean to say that this conflict was always been there.
Yes, it is eternal conflict. Material world is full of conflicts.
Yes.
Material world is equal to conflict.
Yes.
Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you.
Now see, so we discussed about the appearance of Krishna, Parth, and Soumya, I want to clarify this point. Just be very clear. So they come one day of Brahma. So every 1,000, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu comes every 1,000 Kali Yuga. But yes, they do come. He proceeds. Krishna proceeds. Is this okay? Now what is understanding is this. What really makes me understand and make me think is this, that all these different manus, all these different incarnations, there are guna avtaras, there is manvantar avtaras, there are leela avtaras, there is shaktavesh avatar. All these avatars, they come, incarnations, they come. And they come, nobody has taught the love between God and his friends, his lover, his parents, etc. So if we were born, let's say 2,000 years ago, before Mahaprabhu's appearance, we may have had some information about Krishna, what it says in the Bhagavad Gita, but we don't know whether we could have done devotional service, because Mayavad was and Buddhism was very famous. Okay. And then now we've born now. Mahaprabhu came 4,400 years after Krishna's disappearance. He reestablishes personalism, and now we have come after him, 400 years after him, which is now formally established. But still we have got questions in our mind. So, which is a better fortunate birth? Tell me. Going before or coming now? Huh? Coming now?
Yes, I think so. Because everything has been sorted.
That's right. And the Vrindavan Bhav is the most important thing. And again, we will not see these incarnations. both of them, till 1000 yuga cycles are finished. When 1000 Kali Yugas, not yuga cycles, Kali Yugas. It should be, I don't know how many. How many per day, per day of Brahma, how many yuga cycles will go? 1000, I think. Is it not so? Yeah, whatever. So that's the time. So yes, Mahaprabhu precedes. I mean, Krishna and Mahaprabhu, Krishna and Mahaprabhu. But it may come that way, but there will be variation in some form. They don't do exactly the same thing. Okay, but he preaches all the four rasas, primary rasas. But he follows Shungar rasa. That's the most important thing to understand. And that's what we should do. We try to follow.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Haribol.
So I was just thinking about the same point that you're raising about, at what point of time have we taken birth? And then I was thinking, like, Lord Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is a hidden avatar. And then also is the most munificent and the most magnanimous. And, the comparison in the song that Krishna says, first of all, you surrender unto me. But Lord Chaitanya is giving this love of Godhead, and so it can spread in every town and village. So I was thinking that it's kind of, it sounds contradictory, but actually not. Like when Krishna was more famous and more people know about Krishna, but he has his conditions to get the love here, whereas Lord Chaitanya is actually spreading without any conditions, but it's a hidden avatar,
That's right, really.
And then I was thinking that in that, we are so fortunate to have come into contact with Srila Prabhupada, who introduced us to Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because I did not know about Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu before coming to Srila Prabhupada's movement. I knew about Krishna, but I didn't know. And this thought that, now we know, so we can take advantage of that incarnation of Lord Krishna. At least it's meant for fallen souls like me, I really like that line. You cannot find anybody else more fallen than me. And that's why my claim is first, So I really feel that for me, the takeaway in this whole thing is that I have to take advantage of this,
Jai.
It.
Perfect.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Very nice. We are at 7:31. We're nearly finishing now. So just to, that question needs to be answered again, because two of you asked, Parth and Samya. They come every 1000 yuga, Kali Yuga. Okay? So that's why. That's how it is. And hidden incarnation. But as I said, that all incarnations are scheduled to come. No, not Rashikar and all that. But they will not be the same all the time. They come with some variance, some changes there. Is it okay? All right. Now, I'll give about 20 seconds to every one of you. If all of you, those who are showing yourself and not showing you, one thing which you have picked up today, it doesn't need to be what I have spoken. Something which you have learned from anybody else today about Lord Chaitanya. If you can please share one thing.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, sir.
Lord Chaitanya is most beneficent, or is very merciful, and he's a patit pavan, and in Kali Yuga or in material world, we are here because we are patit. So he's the incarnation of the Lord that can save us.
Jai.
And yes, that's what I learned too. He's most patit pavan.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please.
Prabhuji. Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
Prabhuji.
Carry on.
No, please.
As the point you made, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the mood of Radharani, the love, and also you said one more point, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this Kali Yuga to take all the living entities to go back to Godhead, because he's so merciful. Thank you.
Jai. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Very good.
What I took from today's class is that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu preached the significance of Mahamantra. Mahamantra was existing before also, but no one told us that if you are chanting this Mahamantra in Kali Yuga, is the easiest way to go back to Godhead.
Jai.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mother.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.
What I picked up the point is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not accept incarnation as a god. He accepted incarnation as a devotee. And Krishna is in a Vraja Bhav, that if you surrender Krishna, he will reveal more. Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. What I understand from today's lecture from Amrish Prabhu, that Bhagavan Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the combined incarnation of Srimati Radharani and Bhagavan Krishna, as stated in the Shastras. Is Krishna himself. Krishna wanted to experience Bhakti Bhav, therefore he came as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Kali Yuga to spread the Bhakti of Srimati Radharani and Krishna in Kali Yuga. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the unique devotee of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. In this form, a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is none other than Krishna himself, and along with Radharani, who is making Krishna experience. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you, Prabhuji, for your class. I actually really enjoyed the analogy you used about the mango, not knowing how sweet it is. And it cannot enjoy itself, so it must come as a taster. And yeah, it makes sense, understood it a bit better in terms of the mood of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, wanting to experience the love that Radharani feels. So yeah, thank you. Hare Krishna.
It's because of Guru Maharaj. I don't have any intelligence. Thank you. Even I was surprised, when I said, oh, this is a good example I gave. Very nice. I'll remember it. True. Fact. I'm telling you fact. I don't lie for such silly things. So yeah, it was inspiring for me too. Thank you. Very good.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
The point actually I realized today, because means I always heard that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very magnanimous and most magnificent, But actually, the point I realized, because I was listening to this Christian philosophy quite a lot, and they always say that God has left this world, and you'll only go back and associate with the God after basically purify himself and go back to him. And we always complain that actually why God created, as you said, why God created the material world, for the people to suffer. But the way Chaitanya Mahaprabhu descended himself, thinking how to teach these people to love God and come back to Godhead, that shows, how much he loves everyone. He actually means he actually descended himself to be a devotee, to teach, So there's a big, difference between philosophy in Christianity versus, actually what is taught in Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. And also it proves, actually God has no desire to actually put people in suffering. Basically, actually he is, himself coming down to the people and teaching him to actually how to love Krishna. So who can do that, actually, especially when the same people actually refuse to believe in God, or, they say, where is God and all that. So actually that shows that actually God, Krishna loves everyone without, actually making any discrimination. So that's what I realized, Prabhuji, what is magnanimous means. Yeah.
Joy. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So I realized from today's lecture that how you explained the importance of Sankirtana, and in the previous classes as well, that we learned that how in this age of Kali Yuga, when there are so many disasters happening around, so what will we expected to do is Sankirtan. So it's such a suitable way of spreading Krishna's name in this age of Kali. So I like this.
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. You got that clearance, right? I told you about this?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Yes. So, Prabhuji, I learned that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to this material world to enjoy the bliss that was tasted by Radharani. He came to relish the possession of Radharani. And he is so merciful that he prescribed the easiest possible way in Kali Yuga, because he knew that people would be so fallen. So he started the Sankirtan Mahayagna, which is helping us, uplift us as in our devotional service.
Jai, thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Prabhupada, you got your answer? Is it clear now?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
Very good.
Yeah, Prabhu. My realization
Because
is,
you guys
Prabhu,
will then
that
go online, you know. You're very clever people. You know. You're super duper clever. If you don't get answer from us, you'll go somewhere else. It's good also. I'm not criticizing you. Please continue. Please continue.
yes, Prabhu. My realization is, Prabhu, that it's not possible to understand Krishna, his devotees, and especially Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mood through mental speculation and logical analysis.
Very good.
And we can only understand what his mood, what he is actually there, with the help of not by imitating his mood, not by imitating what he did, but by walking in the footsteps that he gave, and especially following his disciples, his people who understood him. And so I think again there is a very big emphasis on parampara, because if you leave Srila Prabhupada, if you leave the parampara, if you leave we can the system, then you won't understand the true mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and you will be confused. As I asked the question, was he mad or was he truly in love? You won't understand. As you said, we cannot understand. Only people who have tasted that can understand. Only Srila Prabhupada can understand. Only big devotees can understand. So I think it's very important to stay in parampara.
Very good.
To follow in the footsteps. Yeah, that is what I.
Very nice. And as Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami said, that the three hidden reasons were revealed by Sarup Damodar. Then we got to know about three reasons. Otherwise, we know what we knew. You see? So that's how it is. It's very nice. And only Srila Prabhupada has given us this information. So all credit goes to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Ki jai.
Yes, yes.
And Prabhu, was it that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only wrote Shikshashtakam, like 8 verses in his lifetime? Nothing more than that?
Nothing more than that.
Okay. So all the information, again, it's from people who were near and dear to him and understood
They
him.
wrote to him. They wrote his biography. And also we have to be very, very careful when you associate. That's why I was in a discussion with a group of devotees, and I said very clearly that in our program, when a person walks in, we teach them small books of Prabhupada, and then we've got intermediate level, and then we got the serious level. And these are all Bhakti Shastri course we teach in a systematic way. So I told them very clearly that we study Srila Prabhupada's books, and we listen to everybody else also, don't worry, all devotees also, but through the eyes of Prabhupada. That's it, full stop. That's it, full stop. No complications. Otherwise, 50 people will tell you 50 different things about Krishna and Gopi and Radha and Mahaprabhu and all those things. So you'll be let loose after some time by your teachers. I'm free. These are teachers and you. Very nice.
Apart from the things that everyone else has said, I think I was wondering about what Purna Pragya Mataji said, and I was thinking that really, even though in like my entire, like even in like India, most of the people don't really know about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's a very, very confidential thing. And even in that, like being born after like just 500 years after Mahaprabhu appeared, and to be able to know him and like to understand its philosophy, it's such a great fortune that we've only received here. And like even if you look at it that way, like 432,000 years, and like just 500 years of like being born after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, like we're so fortunate. And even I was thinking about the question that Krishna Prabhu asked, and I was thinking that so like Vaishnavism in its true essence and what it really means did not exist properly before Mahaprabhu. Like he went to such great lengths to establish it, and that's why we're getting the absolute perfect refined knowledge right now. So like we should really take an advantage of this, this fortunate position that we exist in. So yeah, that was good.
Very nice, very nice. All the best.
Hare Krishna. What I realized from this very nice and very insightful class was actually that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came here. I'd always thought that it was, as you mentioned, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, but then Lord Krishna wanted to know what the rasa was, and so he, in that mood, he took the incarnation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But I also realized, also Divyanshi Mataji also mentioned, which was on my question, that actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also came to properly propagate the Vaishnava philosophy, which was at that time not perfect. So there was the two,
No, it was not perfect. It was all perfect only, but it was specialized knowledge. This perfect was there, because other Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, Vishnu Swami, they all get authorities, So it was perfect. But Mahaprabhu added another dimension to that. So it was perfect. Like even Ramanujacharya, he has got, as Madhava Puri Prabhu said, that is a Vishishta Dvaita philosophy. They've got their own specialized kind of understanding. Okay? Is this okay, Krishna?
Right. So it's just another dimension. It wasn't.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not something which was missing in the world. But I think the Veda Ved is very common understood. Yeah, it should be, So in a way, but I don't think you can say it was added, but you can't say it was lacking before, because they are big authorities, and I don't think they lacked anything in their teaching.
So was it?
Strength, I was saying.
So did Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was it a revolutionary thing about the Achintya Veda, or was it not? Was it just more, properly?
Yes, of course it was revolutionary.
At that time.
Achintya Veda with Tattva, yeah, simultaneously equal to with and without.
So that was amongst the Vaishnav demographic as well. Was that a revolutionary teaching?
To the whole world.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Hare Krishna. Did you cover everything?
Hare Krishna. I'll just quickly share my realization from your class. To me, it was a very technical class, the way you started, and you get a lot of information. And when I was preparing for this class, we decided later on that you should be giving on the class. So when I started reading about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and now I understand that why it is a postgraduate level study, because it is all about the relationship between all those devotees who were close to Mahaprabhu. And when I read them, and it doesn't go in my head. Now, after this class, probably it will make a little bit sense. And the information which you give about the Saraswati, Tirtha, and Bharti, actually, I never knew those kind of information. And even if I knew, I was probably never understood. that how they relate and why it was like this, and why Mahaprabhu took sannyas, and how everything actually fits in. What was the reason? So that was a new information for me. And the other thing is that which probably we are a preaching group. We try to preach whatever capacity we have got. And now we preach, and I don't know about other preachers, but I feel that I am hitting against a wall, and it is very hard to change someone. Actually, it is impossible. And Mahaprabhu, that's only Supreme Personality of Godhead can come and change the entire world, the course of how people are thinking, how things are being done, and how people actually understood Bhagavatam. That's why Prabhupada wrote such a big introduction only on Mahaprabhu, because Mahaprabhu preached only from Bhagavatam. That's, for me, what I understood from Achinta Bheda philosophy, that was existing, because that's our seed verses of Bhagavatam. But it was Mahaprabhu who actually highlighted it, and he get all those Vedic examples. And I have read about Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya's discussion and discourses, and the Chaitamrita, how the arguments they are giving and those. So only Mahaprabhu can do it, and only he also changed Muslims also. Imagine that's a power of Supreme. Otherwise, it's impossible actually. So that's my take from this class.
Yeah, very nice. Very nice. Thank you very much, Hare Krishna. All this is, don't think I'm a big pandit on this. This is also new for me, you know. You think, wow, so I'm learning. Very nice. Thanks to all of you forcing me to do that. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Lord.
Have we done? Everyone is completed? All done? Okay. All right. We are fast making time has come now. Woohoo! Is it not, sir? Let's jump now. Let's go. Okay. All right. Now, who's singing today? Whose turn it is today? Oh, Shubhadra.
Especially dressed.
Wow, Shubhadra, show yourself.
Say Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Can you stand up, Shubhadra? My God. What are you guys doing to her, man? Oh, no. She's not wearing micro mini skirts and all those things. Oh, man. Well, this is so wrong. You must fight with them. Why are you making me sorry? We're sorry at this stage and all those things, you know?
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Very nice. Subhadra? Very good. Happy Gaur Purnima to you. That's okay. That's okay. Don't worry about that. That's okay.
Okay. You sing?
Okay. Sing now. 1, 2, 3, start.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
Maharaj, please hear us.
We have learned some real good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you,
we
will sing.
And today for you, we will sing.
If our room is clean,
if our room is clean,
then our mind is clean.
then our mind is clean.
If our mind is clean,
If our mind is clean,
we can do anything.
we can do anything.
If our room is dirty,
If our room is dirty,
then so are we.
then so are we.
But if we are dirty,
And if we are dirty,
we're not happy.
we're not happy.
Wasting time
Wasting time
is the greatest crime.
is the greatest crime. Because wasted time means a wasted mind.
Make the best of your time.
So best use your time
When you're in your prime.
when you're in your prime.
And your whole life
And your whole life
will be sublime.
will be sublime.
If
If your wealth,
our wealth is gone,
if your wealth is gone,
then there's nothing.
then it's nothing wrong. Then it's nothing wrong.
Then it's nothing wrong. But if our health is gone,
If your health is gone,
that's a different song.
that's a different song.
If your character
If your character
dies,
dies,
then the world will
then the world will
cry.
cry.
Only saintly
Only saintly behavior
behavior.
lets humanity thrive.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We must always remember Krishna. We must always remember Krishna. And never forget him too. And never forget him too. But how are we to practice this with so many things to do? But how are we to practice this with so many things to do? That is the greatest question. That is the greatest question. And here is the greatest clue. And here is the greatest clue. You must learn to walk so nicely that Krishna remembers you. You must learn to walk so nicely that Krishna remembers you. So listen very closely. So listen very closely. And make your thinking sharp. Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart. If something's due tomorrow, finish it today. And whatever's due today, do it now, don't delay. Your friends might be lazy or doing bad things, but you think again, don't follow them, and you will win the end. Whatever work we're given, we do really best. We only need it what we need and give Krishna the rest. This is how to live, to work and to play. You learn to live this way, see Krishna every day. When our time is up, he'll take us up above. We'll sing and dance with him with a heart full of love. And when our time is up, he'll take us up above. We sing and dance with him with a heart full of love. So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. He's the only on this world who can ever become saint. So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. It's the only way this world will ever become sane. Now please ask this greatest question. Now please ask this greatest question. And find this greatest clue. You can only remember Krishna. If Krishna remembers you. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai.
Jai. His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Transcendental Appearance Day, Shri Gaur Purnima Mahotsav ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswami Namine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Prachayane Nirvishesha Sunnivari Pashavari Sarine. So, all this is possible only because of Srila Prabhupada. It is only by Srila Prabhupada's extreme causeless mercy that we can get some knowledge. Only because of him we are here. Just remember, Srila Prabhupada finished translating his last verse of Bhagavatam before he departed from this earth. He did not complete the whole Bhagavatam. How lost it is. Once you finish Bhagavatam, you come to that verse. Of course, when the disciples continued and finished the Bhagavatam, there will be no further book from Prabhupada. if after, remember, if we're feeling this, if we do not cry, then we are not reading Srila Prabhupada's books. We are not attached to his Prabhupada's books. Hare Krishna. It's only by Srila Prabhupada's mercy we are here. Now, on Sunday, the program continues. We've got guest speakers coming, and two Srila Prabhupada disciples will be speaking. Apananda Prabhu and Jai Srila Prabhu, who have spoken last year also. So same time from 6 to 7, 7 to 8. This is from this Sunday onwards, And from next Sunday, our intermediate program would begin. So congratulations to all those who are moving to intermediate level. And at the same time, please get new devotees. You can replace them to come to the beginners program. Hare Krishna. So we meet on this Sunday. Till then, please, first, please break your fast nicely. It's late. We are 9 minutes away, but later than our breakfast time. Okay. But I'm sure we never felt that way. We enjoyed it. Okay. So we see you this Sunday. Same place, same time. Till then, chant Hare Krishna and be happy. And tomorrow, if you want to cook something, then tomorrow is the day to cook. It is Jagannath Mishra's festival. Next day of Mahaprabhu's appearance day. Hare Krishna. Jai.
Hare Krishna.
Jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
very much.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.